What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and we are continuing the van build series. Took a little bit of a break over the Christmas break just because I've been traveling a lot and doing a lot of other projects that I've been working on, so I need to get through this van build series though because I got a lot of stuff coming up on that. And in this video, it's kind of like the Max Air fan. It's nothing sexy, it's nothing super cool, but it is a part of the van build, so I'm doing the video. This video we were talking about doing a tile backsplash in the van, which seems to be kind of a point of contention in the van building world. You see a lot of people online on forums and comments saying you should not ever put tile in a van. For obvious reasons, tile is very rigid and the adhesives you use to put it on there are rigid, they dry, and a van is moving, it is not stationary. Tile is meant to go in a home that is stationary or in a place that is stationary. For me though, I can't really find a lot of evidence out there of people who have built vans that have problems with tile, at least on the vertical and the wall sections. I've seen even more argument about installing tile on the floor, which some people are kind of gnarly when they do that. It interests me, but anyways, this is about a backsplash tile install on my van. There are ways you can mitigate any kind of cracking or failure in your install by using more flexible adhesives or mastics. I personally just went with the standard acrylic mastic you get from Home Depot and standard ceramic tiles on the install. I can honestly say we've been through all types of weather, terrain, everything since I built the van. I have not had a problem with it so far, so I'm actually really stoked on how it came out. Never done tile in my life, I learned on the fly, and I guarantee you I made a bunch of mistakes in this video. So if you are a tile person, I apologize on anything that might be cringeworthy to you. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it.
The very first thing I did was I put this little ledger, screwed it into here, made the measurements off the floor to the top on both sides to make it square. And what this is gonna be is our stop for the tile to sit on. And that's important to have that because otherwise you're trying to figure out what you're going level off of. I have no counter space to sit there and put the tile against. There's nothing to have a starting point or ground zero. That's exactly what this creates. The cabinet is actually going to be about right here, the top height of it, so it's going to be a seamless transition when the cabinet's here for the tile that starts here that shows. So you want to go a little bit below the cabinet height that you're going to be installing. So I got this ledger here, now let's go check out the tiles. Now the tile that I'm using, my lovely fiance Jess has chosen this black hexagon tile pattern, and it comes in all different shapes and sizes and things you can get. You can get whatever tile you want. This is just what she really wanted, and I kind of like it too, so this is what we're going with. Comes in a mesh, so you don't have to do each individual tile, which would be a huge pain in the ass. So what we're going to be doing is sticking the mesh on the wall. The thing about tile is when you're putting it on the wall and putting it flush against something, especially with hexagon, you have, say this is the wall, you now have all these spaces that you have to fill in up against it, because you can't go like this, butting up against the wall and leaving all these little triangle pieces. You now have to cut. And I've already done that, and I was gonna film it, but I didn't because it was a gigantic pain in the ass. What I pretty much did was tear a piece of tile right off the webbing and started fine-tuning pieces until I finally found the perfect sizes for the little triangle wedges that will go in between the tiles right here. I also cut all my half hexagons that will go in between the tiles all the way around on the very bottom, just like so. Cutting these was not fun at all. If I could do it all over again, I'd probably rent a tile saw from Home Depot. I know these are super small and there's not very many to do, but my God, it was a pain in the ass the way I did it. I did it all with a grinder, a hand grinder with a diamond blade on it, cutting each piece of tile. I would clamp the tile to this, start cutting it, pour water on it, start cutting it, pour water on it. Dust flew everywhere. It was a giant mess. My camera was gonna get destroyed in dust, and it was not fun. But pretty much I cut all my pieces that I need, hopefully, besides the very corner pieces in each four corners, which I'll do with one of these triangle pieces when we get to there. But now we have all the tile cut. I'm gonna clean these up, and I got all my mixing stuff, so let's go over that in the process of how it actually goes on the substrate.
So talking about the materials I use, again, like I said at the beginning of this video, I just went with a acrylic pre-made mastic that goes on the back. I got from Home Depot. I'll link that down below. Your standard tile tools that you'll need, like your trowel with the edge marks to spread the mastic. I got a grout float, it's not shown here, I went and got it later. On this build, I use 1/8 inch spacers and then a pre-mixed grout as well. Now, I know the pre-mixed grout is a little bit more expensive, but anytime I can take out user error, which would be mixing your own grout, I'm gonna do that because I'm not a tile guy. So buying the premix stuff for this product's great, so I used it, and again, I loved it. It was really simple.
All right guys, so I went ahead and taped off the sides so I don't get any adhesive or grout or anything on the walls, the finished walls. So I got the mastic here. Let's go ahead and open it up. Oh, that actually smells really good. And I'm just gonna start in this corner and move up. So let's just go for it, dude. Oh God. only putting enough on here to do one tile panel because I want to see what I'm getting myself into before I get too crazy. So. Here's my tile sheet. All right, here we go. God. No going back now. These are the pieces I was talking about. I spent pre-cutting yesterday. I'm not gonna lie, they're not perfect. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball them. I'm not gonna use a spacer. First piece in. Sweet. Now I'm probably gonna go this way and then we'll cut the end off once we get there. I watched this one video of this guy who said when you're putting these in, make sure you're putting them as close as possible to the tiles themselves and the ledger, and then your action is pushing it away. The reason for that is so you don't put it away and then shove it in and you have a bunch of spill out from your adhesive. I don't know if that's overkill or if you're supposed to do that, but I'm doing it because I want it to stick pretty freaking good. All right, so this one we're gonna have to cut. Sweet, it actually works out pretty good because we're gonna have to cut off a little bit of them. Go cut all these at that ledger. We'll be right back. Okay, so after cutting it, I went ahead and put it in as a test run, and I'll be honest, guys, it's not the greatest. Now, am I gonna like completely freak out and be like, no, I need to redo this? Like, I am a perfectionist, but I have never done tile in my life, and honestly, this is not the best and easiest setup to learn on, I don't think. They use hexagon ones because there is a lot that can go wrong. It is what it is. I had to really modify these. I'm not really worried about the top piece because there will be a cabinet here covering this little part, but it is what it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the next 3 pieces, and then this last piece we'll have to cut the edge too. I went ahead and cut these ones all the way down, get those installed. On the last one, we'll mark it, cut the last one. Okay, so we just finished putting all the tile up. It is now in. I'm gonna be completely honest, some of it is awful. Some of it's not very good, but you know what? It's okay because this is my first time ever doing it. And yeah, it's for a band, but that shouldn't be an excuse because again, I don't like doing things half-assed, but for a first try, I think this is pretty damn okay. Now we're gonna let this dry overnight, and then tomorrow we're actually gonna clean it up and start the grouting process. Okay, so next day, this is all dry and hardened. Thank God. Nothing's falling off, so that's a good sign. I went ahead and took a box cutter, tractable, and scraped out where some of the adhesive, the mastic, was poking through. Kind of just a spot right there. Just so I know that the grout, when the grout goes in, it's gonna have, the joints are clear and it'll accept it. It's not gonna be like bulgy in some areas or just like overflowing. So now we are ready to grout, which I'm super nervous about. Yeah, I can't find a real universal answer for the set time, if you will. Like what's gonna happen is we're gonna spread the grout in. It's gonna fill all these grooves and cracks. I finally got my grout float. It's a foam float with a rubber facing on it, and it just really gets into the grooves. It'll form to the grooves. But when we apply this grout, we're gonna make sure it's all in there, and then it's supposed to start setting up, right? The grout is supposed to start setting inside these grooves. It's supposed to get hard. I've read that you want to get it to like a wet sand consistency. Let it dry until it becomes like wet sand, and then start washing it away with a sponge. I read you're not supposed to do it too soon. I read you definitely don't want to do it too late. I'm just really nervous about this because I'm nervous about things I don't really know. But we're just gonna send it and see what happens. Now here we go. We're gonna do a little bit. We're gonna see how it sets up. That way we know what we're doing. So we're not just doing the whole thing going in blind. Okay, so it's been a few minutes and it's hardened up a little bit. Honestly, I think I'm just gonna go for it. Next day, and you can probably tell that I got a haircut. So real quick, last night I didn't film it, but I ended up coming back here about 30 minutes later and everything had really dried up. Everything was setting up pretty good. So I went ahead and did another wash with the sponge. Looks good. Let's go ahead and take everything off.
Actually extremely impressed with the finished product. Not everything is 100% spaced correctly, and the pieces I had to cut out manually didn't come out exactly right, but for a first time tile job, I'm pretty stoked on this. And again, I can definitely say that it's been almost a year now since I've done the Backsplash, and it's held up great. We've been all over the place. We've been through the hottest of weather, the coldest of weather. It is held up just fine. I would definitely say do your own research when it comes to installing tile inside your van, whether that be for a backsplash or a floor. But in my experience, it's been great and I love it. It's a great piece in the van. So that was it, the backsplash install of the van. Next week, we're gonna be talking about the floor install. And yeah, I got a lot of things coming up with the van that I'm very excited about. So stay tuned. If you wanna follow along with the van build, please hit the subscribe button. If you got any value out of the video, please give it a like. It would help me out a lot. And we will see you guys on the next one. See ya. Bye.